In this session we're going to talk about motivation and leadership. Effective leadership is based around motivating individuals to act in the leader's favour. So effective leadership is related to motivation, and it's a question of the leader knowing what motivates the workers, what motivates the people in the team, and then putting in place motivators, ways of motivating those people to achieve the desired objectives. To that end, motivation theories are important in understanding the leadership process, because the leader must know how to motivate the team. The leader must be aware of the different ways in which to motivate the team and what are the likely outcomes as a consequence of picking different methods of motivation. A writer in the area, Buchanan, explains motivation. He said, motivation is a decision-making process through which the individual chooses the desired outcomes and sets in motion the behaviour appropriate to them. So the leader must be aware of different motivation approaches, different theories of motivation, if you like, and select the one which is most appropriate, and then try to motivate the workers using that perspective, using that particular view, that particular way of motivating, to try and get appropriate behaviour. Martin, a different writer obviously in the area, defines motivation within an organisation. Said, for a start, reflect on any team support. Imagine a team, a football team. The players spend considerable time and effort on the field attempting to exhort the other players to perform more effectively. So, in the context of a team, which could be in business or it could be on the football pitch, the players try to motivate each other. They try to praise each other and give support and pointers as to how to improve performance. So teams, if effectively constructed and with the right motivators in place, can be self-motivating as well. Managers are constantly seeking different options in order to motivate their employees to improve performance at every level of the business. If they're effective in motivating the workers, there will be increased productivity and reduced costs. So motivation is extremely important, and the leader must be aware of how to motivate the staff. So what is motivation? Well, motivation is the driving force that encourages individuals to achieve their desired goals or targets. It's the driving force. It's what is within the individual that motivates the individual. The individual wants to achieve a certain outcome. What is it inside the individual that makes them want to achieve that outcome? That is the motivation. Now, the motivation may be higher salary, career prospects, pride in the job. It could be that they want to be seen as an effective member of the team. They don't want to let their colleagues down. Motivation is complex. It can be from different directions, and it may be complex. It may be a little of each. It's entirely dependent on the individual whether motivation comes from an internal or an external source. Sometimes individuals are motivated from within. They want to achieve well. They get a psychological benefit. They get pleasure out of doing a good job. They feel satisfied. It's a job well done. And they like their work. They like being a member of the team. They like doing what they do. So that's internal. It's driven internally. It could be external. It could be quite interventionist. The manager or the leader may be intervening and directing and controlling. That's external. So there are two forces in play here. One is the internal motivation that some people have got towards particular tasks, and the other one is the external, the constant direction, recommendation, and even almost force to get people to do things in a certain way. These are external factors that may motivate. In the case of being very interventionist and very heavy-handed, it's not exactly motivation, it's more threat, and that's not seen as good management practice. Good external sources would be wider praise within the company for a job well done. It could be higher remuneration or the possibility of promotion. These are good external sources. And the good internal sources, as I said, would be the desire to do a good job because it gives them pleasure. The need for motivation is an ongoing process. It just doesn't happen at one day and stop. It's ongoing. So motivation is important right from start to finish. And in fact, there is no finish. In terms of industry and commerce, when one order is completed, the next order presumably is in place and ready to go, and so the process is ongoing. So when one goal is achieved, there is a need to achieve the next goal. It's an ongoing process. Now, the importance of motivation within an organization. First of all, individual capabilities are put into action. So within an organization, motivation is important because individual capabilities are put into action. Individuals are put in place who have got particular skills, aptitudes, abilities, and these are put into action to achieve some goal. Motivation can lead to greater employee efficiency because the workers feel that they are being motivated, they're being respected, they're being recognized for their contribution. So they want to make a contribution. They want to be seen as an important part of the business. So they would have higher productivity. And costs may be reduced. They work better. They're looking for better ways of managing the task and applying themselves more efficiently to the task. And because they themselves are more efficient, the organization is more efficient. If everyone has high motivations, the organization will be efficient. It allows an organization to reach the full potential. Resources are successfully employed within the organization. When the staff are motivated and keen, resources can be employed within the organization successfully. The workers understand that there is a common goal, the common goal of being efficient, of producing a good product, good quality product, delivering it on time, proper design. Everyone's pulling in the same direction. So that makes it easy for the managers to organize resources so it's more efficient. There's no resistance, in other words, to reorganization. And when the individuals are motivated, there's a good spirit within the organization, so it's friendly and it's a nice environment to work because there is less complaining and less bad feeling within the workforce. Everyone feels on the same side. They're all trying to achieve the same set of objectives. And The employees are motivated, but they're also fully aware of what they're trying to do. They know completely what they're trying to do, what their goals are, and they're trying to achieve those goals. And they know how important each of them is to the organization. They know that each contribution is important, so they feel respected and they feel a part of the overall process. They're involved, they feel involved, they're valued. So they are motivated. Good motivation also encourages a more relaxed and approachable environment. Sometimes workers are more motivated, and as a consequence they get higher salary or bonuses. They feel that their efforts have been recognized and respected. And there's better career progression. When someone does a good job and they're recognized, they feel that now their superiors are aware of them and they're aware of what they've done and their capacities, and there's a better career opportunity for them in the future. There's also stability of the workforce. The organisations have a reputation and goodwill, and they want to project a good image into the community and amongst the workforce. So the organisation is supportive of the workforce. They're supportive of the overall goals of the organisation because they've set those in place, and they have matched those with the skills and the abilities and the motivations of the workforce. So overall it's a better climate in which to work. The skills and efficiencies of the employees are recognised, and they feel comfortable in that work. So there is a stability of the workforce. They don't want to leave because they've been recognised, they feel happy with what they're doing, they enjoy their work, there's a good spirit within the organisation, so people are motivated. It's a good place to be. The importance of motivation to an individual as opposed to the organisation. Well, individuals have personal goals. They want higher salaries and better working conditions and perhaps longer holidays. These are normal aspirations, but they can't always be achieved. So sometimes organisations have to compensate. They can't give higher salaries, perhaps they can't afford it, but what they can do is have better communications and explain this to the workforce and make the workforce feel that they are a part of the bigger team. They're all pulling in the same direction. So it's trying to marry up the personal goals of the individuals to the goals of the organisation. But job satisfaction is important. The workers must achieve job satisfaction. If they don't, there will be a high labour turnover. They will leave. And that's costly to the organisation. They have to employ more staff, they have to recruit the staff and train the staff, and initially at least the staff will not be as efficient as the ones who have left. They don't know how to do the work satisfactorily. So job satisfaction for the existing staff is important. And that means having a good spirit within the workplace and making sure that the workers are motivated and respected in their positions. The workers need self-esteem. They need to have this self-esteem. They need to look into themselves and feel happy in what they do. They've got a salary or a wage. They are doing a particular task. They enjoy doing the task. It's not a bad task to undertake. They can see the work change as they perform different tasks on it, and they've got pride in the end, the job they've done. And they've been respected by their colleagues and by their superiors. They've been congratulated. Someone has told them they've done well. But also they want to feel that they have development needs, that their future will be better, and that next year will be better than this year. So they want to have development. They're working within a dynamic team. The team are motivated, so it's dynamic, it's changing. People are coming up with new ideas, new efficiency ideas, new ways of doing the job, and that makes it interesting. So life is good. The working life is good. The way they do the job today may be different from tomorrow. Tomorrow they may have some new way of doing it, or some part of the job may have been tweaked, just varied slightly, but it makes it different. There's a newness about it, which is interesting. Now, the importance of motivation to a business. Well, it'll result in more employee contribution, and hence more profit and success of the organization. So motivation means the employees are contributing more. They're easier to manage. They're more self-motivated. They enjoy the work. They're being respected. There's less absenteeism because they're motivated. So there will be greater benefits to the organization in terms of outcomes, profits, and the success of the organization. And the workers will be, as I said earlier, looking for new ways to perform tasks, and perhaps coming up with recommendations for the product itself, which may be taken to the marketing department and pilot tested in the marketplace. And everyone is in it. Is in this program together. They're all trying to achieve the same objective, which is the sustainability of the organization, the long run employment within that sector, within that company, and they're trying to promote the business, promote the image of the business. So there's greater creativity and adaptability amongst the workforce. The workforce are contributing the same as the other departments, the admin departments and the accounts department and the marketing department. If someone has an idea, it should be taken on board and thought about and analysed and discussed. It may then be dismissed or it may be accepted, but at least it was treated seriously, and that leads to motivation. It's a more challenging and progressive environment. It's not complacent. As I said earlier, it's dynamic. So the business itself will be more challenging and progressive. The workers are constantly looking for better ways of working because they're more highly motivated. And if they're more highly motivated and looking for efficiencies, that means the organization will become more efficient in the marketplace. It becomes a better organization in the marketplace. It offers a better product, perhaps cheaper. Customers benefit. Competitors will have a problem in dealing with this organization. So it's important, motivation at various levels, for the individual, for the business, for the overall organization. And let's look at some motivation theories. There are two parts that we want to isolate in particular, called the intrinsic or extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic or extrinsic. Intrinsic motivation looks into how motivation is encouraged through an interest or enjoyment within an activity. It is said that this type of motivation originates from within the individual rather than external factors. So intrinsic motivation is what's inside the person. It's what gives the person satisfaction, gives them pleasure in work. They They like to do the job. They like to see the finished product. They like to make a contribution. They want to come up with new ideas to improve the process, to make it even more efficient. They feel involved. It's intrinsic. So that's one form of motivation. Extrinsic occurs from external sources. It comes from outside of the individual and impacts on their behavior and attitude to work. It could be related to rewards, money, grades, and acknowledgement. It's what's outside of the individual. It's the working environment. It's the relationship with the line managers and the departmental managers and so on. It's the way they are dealt with by management. If the workers feel that they are not being dealt with nicely by management, they're not motivated. So there's no extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic is outside of the individual. If they receive rewards because of a job well done, they receive a bonus at the end of the month, that's an extrinsic motivation. They feel motivated. They feel happy with that. So we have two types, intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. And both impact on the work activity. It could be that the level of reward, and the level of reward perhaps feeds back to extrinsic. They feel that this is outside of them, and but at the same time it's a big motivator, so the level of reward. It could be in terms of salary, it could be in terms of recognition. Reward doesn't have to be monetary. It could be the proverbial clap on the back. It could be well done. But there's also intrinsic, because there's an internal satisfaction. They have been recognized. They've been recognized as doing a good job, and they've been picked out and honored accordingly. And this means that there is intrinsic. They are now more motivated. So there's feedback for the future. It depends on reward satisfaction. So as to whether the reward has been successful, it could be, as I said, it doesn't have to be monetary. It could be a bonus at the end of the month, which is monetary. It doesn't have to be. It could be recognition by the management, a thank you from the management. And that sort of feedback is important. It reinforces the motivation if it's positive. If it's a criticism, it's negative. It demotivates. I'd like you to look at this slide in a little more detail. Perhaps stop the video and have a look at this one. All it does here is it lists out various theories and shows how the various theories developed and how they're linked. I'm not going to go through these obviously in this session, but I just wanted to show you that the whole idea of motivation is complex, it's big, and it's a very important area of study in business. And in fact, many videos on this course are linked to motivation theory. But that's all I'm going to deal with at the moment. That's all we're going to deal with in this session. So I'm going to leave it at that and say thank you for watching.